I'm Dr. Bojack from Atlantic Chiropractic in Stoneham, Mass, your posture doctor. Today we're going to talk about spinal stenosis. So that's spinal stenosis. So actually spinal is dealing with the spine. Stenosis is closing down the opening where the nerve root comes out. So because of mechanical dysfunction in the spine, you get pressure or irritation on the nerve root, which irritates the conversation of that message, that direction, or that actual communication of that actual spinal cord or that neurology. So in regards to spinal stenosis, what we're looking at here is the back of the spine. So these are your spinous processes. Okay, so what they literally did was remove the back of these spinous processes and these laminas, okay, in order to reveal the spinal cord. Okay, so we're on the same page, right? Here's your spinal cord or your power cord that runs down the entire length of this spine. So here's a model of two of these vertebral bodies. Okay. Okay, and if you look at from the side, that's what we're looking at. And see where this nerve root comes out? See that light, how it lights up? So that's a juice running through that actual nerve. Okay, and if we flip it around, here's your spinal or power cord from looking down on that actual spine. So here's the vertebral body. Okay, here's your spinous processes. Here's your posterior facet joints. So the joints in your spine are really made up of the disc and these two posterior facet joints. Okay, and here's that power cord or spinal cord. So when we cut this out, this is what you're seeing. There's your spinal cord or power cord. And here's those nerve roots, which are these nerve roots. Okay? So, when we get instability or that structure moves from normal to an abnormal or causes rotation, okay, or lateral flexion, okay, as a consequence, this actual foramen, which means an opening where this nerve root comes out, is encroached or pinched. And that's what causes the stenosis or the pressure irritation on a nerve. The decreased opening in this vertebral body, which causes pressure or resistance on that nerve. Because of the pressure or resistance on the nerve, that conversation, message, instruction, or direction, or that talk is decreased. So just think of your computers, right? We all got computers. This is your software. Okay? This software is belting out conversations, directions, or instructions to every organ, muscle, and tissue and gland. Okay? So if this particular nerve is going to my bicep muscle and there's twisting or rotation, or there's anterior flexion, which is going, or let's do extension or flexion, whatever you want. Let's go flexion. It's going to put pressure or resistance on the nerve. That's going to my bicep muscle, and also my bicep muscles getting spasms or tremors. Or what? When you go to pick up something, you have weakness. The bottom line, because this message is irritated, wherever it's going, whether it's going to muscle or an organ, like your stomach, or a tissue or a gland, it's going to be irritated. So if it's going to your stomach, you're going to have bloatedness, queasiness, gassiness, nausea, heartburn, any kind of dysfunction. Okay? So that's exactly what's going on. Now we're looking at the actual cervical curve. So see this cervical curve? So the cervical curve is the upper portion of your neck. Literally is your neck. Cervical means neck. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are your 7 bones in your neck. Okay? So you can see these actual components a lot better. So here's your disc space. Okay, that's your disc right here, the disc, right? Which acts as a friction pad or a shock absorber. Okay? The vertebral body acts as what? Housing or guards or protects that spinal cord or power cord. And then see this opening here? That's where that nerve root is coming out. Okay? So again, we'll look at this guy. Disc, disc, vertebral body, vertebral body, vertebral body, vertebral body, nerve root, right? Pressure on that nerve irritated it in this actual signal or message, instruction or direction, and then hence irritated response as a result of where that actual nerve is going. Okay? So as we get dysfunction in that cervical spine, mechanical dysfunction, which is what concussions are, right? Concussions are nothing more than mechanical dysfunctions in the spine, which causes neurological response. Okay? So because of this mechanical dysfunction, the components of this spine change. And as we started, right, spinal stenosis is literally when these actual spaces or openings where these nerves come out, what? Decrease or close down. And as that opening closes down, that nerve gets irritated. Okay? It's just common sense. We have an opening, that cord, that nerve or wire runs through it. Okay? And as it closes down, that wire is going to get compressed or pinched or irritated, which is going to cause dysfunction, or known as subluxation. The consequence, or medical terms, spinal stenosis, they give it that name. Okay, so remember what we were saying. Here's this degeneration or spinal degeneration, right? So what's going on is, see this red? This is your disc, and here's that foramen where this nerve root is coming out. So these guys are compromised, right, or compensated for. Okay, so if we look at a joint such as this, taken up close, see how this disc space is compromised? So the height of the disc is decreased. Remember, the disc acts as a shock absorber or friction pad. So here we go. Here's an actual disc. Okay? So it looks like a sponge almost, and kind of acts like a sponge. Okay? So remember what I said, right? This guy here is your shock absorber and your friction pad. Okay, so what? The most aggravating thing for your spine is what? Compression, right? And rotations. That's when this guy's challenged. Okay? So, this disc is like gel on your supper table, right? If it's warm out, that Jell-O is almost like in a liquid state. If you put that in the fridge, it's going to cool down. So guess what? You, the patient, when you're sleeping all night long, you're not what? Moving around. If you're not moving around, you're not creating what? Friction or heat. That's why when you get up in the morning, you're what? Stiff and tight and tense. Because you've been sleeping, and this guy's not functional. Okay, so we mentioned doing your spinal twist, and I know that's on our YouTube channel for Atlanta Chiropractic if you want to check that out. But that's why you're doing a spinal twist, and the most important time for you to do that spinal twist is in the morning, because you want to change this disc from a solid into a liquid state. Okay, so you want this guy to be functional. Okay, and it's made up of a lot of aqueous solution, so you got to literally pump this guy up. Okay, so when you do it in the morning, you change this disc from a solid to a liquid. Now it's functional as a friction pad and a shock absorber. Okay, that can't happen here, nor is it happening here, right? It's very challenging for this to happen here, because what? That disc space is decreased. You're starting to get arthritic spurs, and arthritic spurs are kind of like little, these are little, arthritic spurs are just like little icicles. See these icicles? They hang down. And when that disc space decreases to the extent that you don't see the disc, then you're starting to get fusion in here. And that's what you don't want, right? Once you get fusion, you got no motion. Now that joint's not working as a functional unit. Now you got all kinds of pressure on this neurology and that spinal cord. Okay, so we back it up, and because of that disc space decreasing, and because of this mechanical dysfunction, see how this nerve is impinged? That's spinal stenosis, right? It's actually blocking of that nerve root. Got it? And because of that spinal stenosis, or that blocking that nerve root, you're going to get what? Pressure. Pressure. So I got my finger here, right? And what runs through our finger? Blood. Okay, but you can use the same analogy for your nerve conversation. Okay, so let's just say that's a nerve, and that nerve has juice running through it, and all of a sudden you get this pressure, right? And that's going to what? Pinch that nerve. Or it's literally going to what? Pinch, right? That nerve root. Because it pinches that nerve root, it's like somebody shut it down, right? I get a hunch if I leave that actual clothes hanger or this guy on this nerve with my finger, it's going to start turning blue. Ouch, right? That's causing a lot of pressure, and the more pressure, the longer it stays, this actual finger is going to turn blue, and that's because what? The blood's not circulating. Well, kind of the same analogy happens with our juice or our nerve root, or that message, instruction, or direction. Because of that pressure irritation on a nerve, you're not getting communication. It's not functioning to that organ or muscle or tissue or gland. Okay? So, okay, spinal stenosis deals specifically with these nerve roots. You can actually deal with that spinal cord or power cord if this actual magnum foramen, which is a big hole for your spinal cord, is reduced also in size. So any opening that's reduced is stenosis, and that causes pressure on that nerve, which is going to irritate the function of the organ, the muscle, the tissue, or gland. Okay, so if this guy is left uncorrected, it's just going to get what? Progressively worse and more irritated, right? So that's a side picture of a neck. Okay, so the same thing can be happening in what, our front to back picture, or your A to P picture, right? You got lateral flexion, and it wedges out these vertebral bodies, wedges out these discs, and it's going to cause pressure on these nerves also. Okay, from an A to P dimension. Okay, so you can get this spinal stenosis, is what I'm sharing with you, any place throughout this spine. Okay, and it's going to cause pressure resistance on these nerve roots, which is going to irritate the function of the organ or muscle or tissue gland. Okay? Even our own acknowledges that. Okay? We got to put them away from Christmas. But the bottom line is that's what's going on. Okay? So hence it's so important to keep mechanical motion or mechanical function in this spine, because again, right, the essence of life is that spinal cord and this neurology. That neurology is your intelligence, and again, it's directing the organs, muscles, tissues, and glands. This neurology or this coach has to connect to bark out those orders, messages, or instructions to your organs, muscles, and tissues, and glands. And that's really what chiropractic is about, right? Making sure this neurology is expressing at 100%, so you are functioning at 100%. There's no way the hardware can function at 100% if the software is not functioning at 100%. Okay? So that's what spinal stenosis. It's more linguistics and labels, okay, with different terminology, but in essence, it's mechanical dysfunction or the mechanics of the spine breaking down, specifically in this opening where the nerve root comes out, and it specifically deals with your nerve root and that opening. And the opening is compromised, so it decreases in size. When it decreases in size, again, right, this actual nerve is going to be irritated, and when the message is irritated, the function's irritated, right? Just like outside, right? We can be very knowledgeable of something, but if we don't communicate it, doesn't really matter how knowledgeable you are. You have to be able to communicate it, right? The same thing with this neurology. Right? This neurology knows all kinds of things about your body, but it's got to be able to make its instruction, direction, or connection or message in order for it to balance what it needs to balance, in order for it can adapt the way it needs to adapt, in order for you to have equilibrium or harmony. And that's literally what health is, right? It's balance. Well, balance is an inside job, not an outside job, and it's through this neurology. Okay? Not anything else. So, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight to learn about spinal stenosis. We love to check your spine. Give us a call at 781-GET-WELL, 781-438-9355. And we look forward to checking your posture and your mechanics and your spinal mobility in the near future. Have a great night. Have a Tassi Tuesday. Enjoy. God bless. Bye-bye.